All right, welcome to another deep dive. You ready to unlock some serious persuasion secrets, Roman style?
Oh, absolutely. Let's do it.
This time, we're all about Cicero. You know, the OG master orator himself.
Cicero. Now, there's a name that echoes through history.
But here's the thing that blows my mind, right? This guy wasn't born with a silver spoon. He was a novus homo.
Ah, a new man. No powerful family, no fancy connections.
Exactly, just raw talent and hard work, a ton of it.
He had to fight his way to the top in a world where public speaking wasn't just a nice skill to have, it was the skill.
Think about it. No internet or social media, right? So a killer speech. That
Right.
could win you elections, sway juries, make you the most popular guy at the party.
He was make or break.
And Cicero, he absolutely crushed it. His speeches, legendary.
Legendary is right. Take his first Catilinarian oration, for example. It's
Yep.
basically a verbal smackdown of this guy, Catiline.
Wait, Catalan?
Yeah, he was plotting to overthrow the government. Full-on conspiracy, and Cicero. He exposed the whole thing.
Oh, wow. Okay, hold on. So he's exposing a coup attempt, just with his words.
Just with his words, and he did it masterfully. Vivid language, powerful emotion.
So what, like ancient Roman attack ads?
Something like that, but way more eloquent and effective.
How'd he pull that off?
He was a master of combining three key elements: ethos, pathos, and logos. It's like this triangle of persuasion. Ethos is all about establishing your credibility. Cicero, he'd always emphasize his loyalty to Rome, his experience, basically build trust with the audience before even getting into his argument.
Okay, yeah, makes sense. Like if some random person on the street starts ranting about politics, I'm probably not going to listen. But someone who's, I don't know, dedicated their life to public service, yeah, I'm more likely to hear them out.
Exactly. That's ethos in action.
Gotcha. So that's ethos. What about pathos?
Pathos, that's the emotional hook. Think about those speeches that give you chills, right? Or make you laugh out loud.
Yeah, the ones you actually remember.
Right. Cicero. He was a master at using vivid imagery, powerful language to make his audience feel something. He knew connecting on an emotional level was key.
It's so true. A dry, boring presentation will put anyone to sleep. But if you can get people invested emotionally, you've got them. All right, so ethos, the credibility factor, pathos, the emotional hook. What's logos then?
Logos is all about the logic, the reasoning behind your argument.
Ah, so it's not just about fiery speeches then.
Cicero wasn't all fiery rhetoric. He used facts, he presented evidence, carefully constructed arguments to make his points just undeniable.
Sounds like he was playing 4D chess with his words.
He was master strategist, that's for sure, combining all these elements to create a truly persuasive masterpiece. And, it's not just something for Roman senators. This stuff's timeless.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, right? We can all learn from this guy.
Absolutely. One key takeaway from Cicero: there's no one-size-fits-all approach to communication. He was a master of adapting his message to his audience.
Like, you wouldn't talk to your boss the same way you talk to your best friend.
Exactly. You got to read the room, tailor your message to resonate with whoever you're talking to.
Okay, makes sense. So adapt your message. What other Cicero wisdom can we steal?
Well, another big thing Cicero was always harping on about was balance. Balancing emotion and reason.
Oh, interesting.
Because purely emotional arguments, they can lack substance. And purely logical ones, they can feel dry,
Yeah.
uninspiring. You got to find that sweet spot.
Makes sense. Connect on multiple levels.
Precisely. And it reminds me of Cicero's speeches against this guy, Mark Antony. They were called the Philippics.
The what now?
Philippics. And in those, Cicero showed a different side of his skills. He used satire, wit, almost like, a verbal roast to totally discredit his opponent.
Wait, hold on. Are we saying Cicero was throwing shade, Roman style?
Oh, yeah. He was a master of it.
That's amazing.
Right.
But were all his speeches just political battles,
Yeah.
going after his opponents?
Not at all. One of his most famous speeches, Pro Archia Poeta, was actually in defense of his friend.
Oh,
Yeah, his poet friend, Archias. And this speech, it shows Cicero's incredible versatility. He used his eloquence not for political gain, but to champion the importance of art and culture to Roman society.
wow. Okay, so he wasn't just about winning arguments. He actually used his voice to advocate for what he believed in.
Exactly. And when it comes to making those speeches captivating, well, there were some very specific techniques he used.
Okay, so spill the beans. What were Cicero's secret weapons?
Well, that's where things get even more interesting. We'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive. All right, so we're back and ready to unlock some more of Cicero's secrets.
Hit me with it. What made this guy such a persuasive powerhouse?
Well, you know how we were talking about storytelling before?
Yeah, a good story always grabs my attention.
Exactly. Cicero was a master at it. He didn't just throw dry facts and figures at his audience. No way. He used anecdotes, historical references, even vivid imagery to really bring his arguments to life.
It's like, if you're trying to make a point in a conversation, just stating the facts can be kind of boring, but tell a good story, boom, people are hooked.
Right. And it's not just about entertainment value either. Stories, they help us understand and remember stuff better. They create that emotional connection that really makes a message stick. Remember how Cicero defended his poet friend, Archias?
Oh, yeah, he went all out on that one.
He did. And he didn't just argue dry legal stuff. He painted this whole picture of Rome's future, enriched by art and culture. Powerful stuff.
Yeah, so instead of just saying art is good for society, he's showing you how it can uplift and inspire. Way more engaging. So storytelling, got it.
What else is in Cicero's toolbox?
Okay, get this. Silence.
Silence. Wait, like just not talking.
Yeah. Cicero was a master of using pauses strategically.
I don't know about that. It just sounds awkward.
No, not awkward silences. Think more like, creating drama.
Hmm.
Emphasizing a key point, letting the message really sink in. Imagine you're giving a presentation, right? And you just delivered the super powerful statement. Okay, yeah.
A well-timed pause. That can let the statement hang in the air. Gives your audience time to absorb it.
Oh, I see. It's like that moment in a movie when the music cuts out, everything goes quiet, and you're just on the edge of your seat waiting for what's going to happen next.
Exactly. Cicero used silence to create those moments. Heighten the attention. Make his message hit home.
Wow, okay. Silence, who knew? So we've got storytelling, silence. What else?
Okay, this one's more about structure. Cicero always structured his arguments with a clear beginning, middle, and end.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Gotta keep things organized.
He knew that a strong opening was crucial to grab the audience's attention.
Yeah, first impressions are everything.
And a powerful closing. That was essential for leaving a lasting impression.
It's like framing a picture. The right frame can make all the difference. So what did Cicero do to create those killer openings and closings?
For openings, he'd often start with a thought-provoking question or a dramatic anecdote to really hook the audience right from the start. Remember how his first Catilinarian oration began?
Remind me.
He goes, "How long, O Catiline, will you abuse our patience?" Boom. Instant attention grabber. Sets the stage for that whole takedown of a conspirator.
Okay, yeah, I see how that would work. And the closings.
For those, he'd summarize his main points, often with a call to action or a memorable thought that would stay with the audience long after the speech was over. Leave them thinking.
Smart. All right, so we've got storytelling, we've got silence, strategic structure for our arguments, like we're building our own Cicero-inspired persuasion toolkit here. But what about, when you're facing opposition? Did Cicero just ignore his critics?
He was actually really smart about it. Instead of going for personal attacks, which, let's face it, can totally backfire, he'd use humor, satire, carefully crafted arguments to dismantle his opponent's views.
So he addressed the issue, not the person.
Precisely. It's like that saying, disagree without being disagreeable, which, honestly, is solid advice for anyone, especially online.
Oh, tell me about it. Twitter could learn a thing or two from Cicero.
Seriously. Okay, and here's one more Cicero tactic. Repetition.
Repetition. Isn't that, kind of boring?
Not the way Cicero did it. He knew that repeating key phrases or ideas, but strategically, would help them stick in the audience's mind.
Ah, so it's not just mindlessly repeating yourself. It's about using repetition for emphasis, to make sure your message is crystal clear, like a song with a catchy chorus you can't get out of your head.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
In the Catilinarian speeches, for instance, he kept hammering on the idea that Catiline was a threat to Rome, a public enemy, used variations of that phrase over and over again, driving home the point. By the end of it, the audience had no doubt who the bad guy was.
Wow, that's pretty clever. Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground. Ethos, pathos, logos, storytelling, silence, strategic structure, handling opposition, even the power of repetition. It's a lot to take in. But, I gotta ask, why should we care about some Roman orator from over 2,000 years ago? It's all cool stuff, don't get me wrong, but is it really relevant to us today?
Great question. And it gets to the heart of why Cicero's legacy has lasted so long. It's not just that his techniques work and they've been influencing people for centuries. It's that Cicero believed that rhetoric, the art of persuasion, wasn't just about winning arguments or manipulating people. He saw it as this way to serve the public good, to advocate for justice, to make a real difference in the world.
So it's not just about being a smooth talker, it's about using your skills for a purpose, for something bigger than yourself.
Exactly. And that's a powerful idea. But, mastering these techniques, becoming a Cicero-level communicator, that could be a double-edged sword, right?
I was just thinking that all this persuasive power could be used for good or bad.
Exactly. And Cicero himself knew that. The power of language, it's immense. It can be used to manipulate, to deceive, just as easily as it can be used to inspire, to enlighten. Which brings us to a question we all need to think about. What would you do with that kind of persuasive power?
Whoa, that's a deep one. And honestly, it's a little scary to think about.
It is. But it's something we all need to grapple with. Luckily, Cicero actually had some thoughts on that very topic. How to use this power responsibly, ethically.
Okay, I'm all ears.
And that's what we're going to explore in the final part of our deep dive.
Okay, so we're back. Cicero, master of persuasion, right? We've learned about all his techniques. Ethos, pathos, storytelling, strategic silence, you name it.
It's like we've been building our own little arsenal of rhetorical weapons.
Right, but now the big question is, what do we do with all this persuasive power?
Because knowing how to win an argument is one thing. Using it for good,
Yeah.
that's a whole other ballgame.
Yeah, I mean, was Cicero just about winning? Or did he have something to say about using this stuff ethically?
He did. Cicero, he believed that true eloquence wasn't just about technique. It came from a deep understanding of your subject, passion for your cause.
So it's got to be genuine.
Absolutely. And a commitment to something bigger than yourself, the greater good. He saw rhetoric as a tool not for personal gain, but for shaping public opinion, advocating for justice, making the world a better place.
Okay, that's pretty inspiring. But how do we apply that, right? We're not exactly addressing the Roman Senate here.
Think about it this way. When was the last time you were truly persuasive? When you really got your point across?
Good question.
Was it when you were trying to manipulate someone? Or was it when you were genuinely passionate about something and wanted to share that with others?
Yeah, when I really believe in something, the words just come out. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's Cicero in a nutshell. True persuasion, it comes from authenticity, a genuine desire to connect with your audience and share your vision. Not tricks, not manipulation. It's about using your voice to inspire, to educate, to move people to action.
So yeah, the techniques are important, but it's only part of it. You gotta have a message worth sharing.
A purpose behind those words.
It's like the difference between a sales pitch and, I don't know, a heartfelt plea. One might get you a sale, but the other can change hearts and minds.
That's a great way to put it, and that's really where Cicero's legacy shines. His techniques, they're valuable, yeah. But his real gift is the understanding that communication, at its best, is about connection, authenticity, using our voices to make a real impact.
We started this deep dive talking about Cicero, the master orator, the guy who could sway crowds with his words.
Right.
And now it's like his biggest lesson is about something much deeper, the power of using our voices for good.
And you know what? That's a powerful reminder for all of us. The words we choose, the way we communicate, it can have a ripple effect far beyond ourselves.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Cicero, what's the one thing you want our listeners to walk away with?
Just this. The power of language is immense. It can build or destroy, inspire or manipulate. But it's up to each of us to use that power responsibly, ethically, with a genuine desire to make the world a better place.
Powerful stuff. Thanks for taking us on this journey.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time, keep those words flowing, keep those minds engaged, and remember, never underestimate the power of your own voice.